We live in a world that moves faster than we can process. Notifications pull our attention. Deadlines tighten like a noose. Expectations our own and others rise higher by the minute. But amidst this noise, there is a truth we often forget. The way we live our days is the way we live our lives. You don't conquer your life all at once. You conquer it day by day. And to do that, I want to share with you 5 rules, not hacks, not tricks, rules. Foundational, grounding, and deeply human. Most people wake up and ask, what do I need to do today? That's a trap. The real question is, why am I doing it? Purpose isn't a luxury, it's your compass. When you know your why, your actions align. Your choices get clearer. Your energy is focused. So before the emails, before the coffee, take a breath and reconnect with what truly matters to you. Whether it's serving others, building something meaningful, or simply showing up as the best version of yourself, that's your starting line. The first hour of your day sets the tone for everything that follows. If you give that time to chaos, don't be surprised when the rest of your day spirals. But if you claim that hour quietly, intentionally, you create momentum. Read, reflect, move, breathe, plan. Not for productivity's sake, but for clarity, for direction. That first hour isn't about doing more. It's about becoming more centered. Growth doesn't come from comfort. If it did, we'd all be extraordinary by now. Each day, choose one thing that stretches you. A conversation you've been avoiding, a decision you've been delaying, a task that intimidates you. Lean into it, not recklessly, but courageously. Because the person who grows stronger each day is the one who willingly walks into discomfort and doesn't wait to be pushed. We're all in a hurry to be right, to fix, to improve, but people, including ourselves, don't respond to criticism. We respond to connection. So before you correct a teammate, connect with them. Before you judge yourself, show yourself grace. Empathy isn't weakness. It's wisdom. It's how trust is built. And without trust within teams, families, or ourselves, nothing sustainable is ever built. We often wake up with a sense of urgency. The moment our eyes open, our minds are already racing, thinking about what needs to be done, who we need to respond to, and which deadlines are looming. It's become a daily ritual. Reach for the phone, check notifications, and mentally brace for impact. We are driven by lists, by schedules, by expectations. But in the rush to do more, we often forget to ask the most important question: why? Productivity without purpose is just motion without meaning. You might check off 10 tasks today, stay busy from morning until night, and still feel like you've gone nowhere. That's because doing more doesn't always mean doing what matters. Without a deeper reason behind our actions, even the most productive day can feel empty. Purpose is what gives context to our effort. It's the anchor in the chaos. It doesn't necessarily change what we do, but it transforms how and why we do it. When you begin your day by reconnecting with your purpose, your values, your mission, the kind of person you want to be, you set a foundation that no amount of noise can shake. It's like tuning your instrument before playing a song. Without that calibration, everything you play will be off key, no matter how fast you go. This doesn't mean you have to spend hours meditating or journaling before you begin the day. It simply means you pause, even for a minute, to ask yourself, what do I want to understand for today? Maybe it's showing up with patience. Maybe it's leading with integrity. Maybe it's finishing a project not just to get it done, but to serve the people it was created for. When you're grounded in that sense of why, your work has energy, your actions have intention. And here's the paradox. When you start with purpose, you actually become more productive. Not the kind of productivity that burns you out, but the kind that's aligned and sustainable. You stop chasing every urgent thing and start focusing on what's truly essential. You're not just reacting, you're leading. You're no longer just filling time, you're using it. Purpose also protects you from burnout. Because when your energy is spent on things that matter, exhaustion feels different. It's no longer the emptiness of wasted motion. It's the satisfaction of meaningful effort. You still get tired, but it's the kind of tired that ends with peace, not regret. In a world obsessed with output, choosing to begin with purpose is a radical act. It's choosing to be driven by vision, not pressure. It's choosing depth over speed. And most importantly, it's choosing to honor your time by aligning it with what actually matters. So tomorrow morning, before you dive into your tasks, take a breath. Ask yourself not just what you need to do, but who you want to be while doing it. That one question can change the way you live the entire day. Because when you lead with purpose, productivity stops being a race and starts becoming a legacy. How you begin your day has a powerful ripple effect on everything that follows. The first hour is more than just a slice of time, it's a tone setter. A signal to your brain and body about how the rest of the day will unfold. Yet too often we give it away without a thought. We roll over, grab our phones, scroll through social media, answer emails, or dive straight into the chaos. In doing so, we allow the world to set our agenda before we've even taken our first conscious breath. But there's another way. You can claim that first hour and make it yours not for the sake of routine, but for the sake of alignment. This doesn't require waking up at 4 a.m. or becoming someone you're not. It's not about how early you rise, it's about what you do with the time you have. The first hour of your day should be intentional. It should be a space where you lead yourself before the world tries to lead you. Imagine waking up and instead of reacting, you begin by checking in with yourself. You take a moment of quiet. Maybe that's a few deep breaths, a silent stretch, a short walk, or writing down a few thoughts. You do something that grounds you not to be productive, but to be present. Because presence is the true foundation of performance. When you are present, you're not just going through the motions, you're choosing them. There's something sacred about early moments. They haven't yet been touched by deadlines, requests, or distractions. Your mind is clearer. Your willpower is stronger. That makes it the perfect time to invest in things that matter to your inner world. Read something that inspires you, move your body even gently, reflect, plan. Don't plan your to-do list, plan your mindset. Ask yourself, how do I want to show up today? Who needs my best energy? What matters most? The first hour is also a chance to build a rhythm that's proactive, not reactive. Most people spend their mornings in reaction mode, responding to others' needs, scrolling endlessly, or rushing through their routine with no real sense of ownership. When you begin your day like that, you're already behind. You're playing catch-up before the game has even started. But if you create space to think, to feel, and to prepare, you're in control. You don't just have a day. You lead it. Over time, owning your first hour becomes a form of self-respect. It's a way of saying, I matter. My peace matters. My direction matters. And from that place, you engage with your responsibilities with more clarity and confidence. You respond with intention, not impulse. You make decisions from a centered place. That doesn't mean the day will be perfect, but you'll be better prepared to meet it with purpose. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to owning your morning. What matters is that it reflects your values. It could be 10 minutes of stillness or a full hour of structured activity. What counts is that you begin the day on your terms. That first hour isn't about checking a box, it's about setting the pace. A calm beginning leads to a focused mind. A focused mind leads to better choices. Better choices lead to a better day. And the power is in your hands. Every morning is a fresh chance to declare, this is how I want to live. When you own the first hour, you're not just getting ahead of your schedule. You're getting aligned with your purpose. And that alignment is what makes all the difference. Discomfort is not the enemy we often think it is. In fact, it's one of the most honest and reliable signals that growth is near. Yet, our instinct is to avoid it, to stay in the zone where things feel familiar, where outcomes are predictable, and where we don't risk failure or judgment. But the truth is, if every day feels easy, you're probably not growing. Progress demands friction. The challenge is not to wait for discomfort to come to you, but to step into it deliberately, consistently, and with purpose. Embracing discomfort daily is not about punishment or pushing yourself to exhaustion. It's about choosing the kind of difficulty that shapes you into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable. Think of it like resistance training for your mind and spirit. Just as muscles grow when they are challenged, so does character. The key is to be intentional. Every day offers you a chance to do one thing that stretches your comfort zone, a conversation you've been avoiding, a project you've been procrastinating on, a truth you've been afraid to confront. Most people wait for a big event to force them into change. A crisis, a job loss, a health scare, those moments jolt us awake. But what if you didn't wait for disruption? What if instead you built the habit of leaning into small challenges every day? That's how resilience is built, not by surviving rare, dramatic events, but by training yourself to face discomfort regularly in manageable doses. When you make a daily practice of doing hard things, something powerful happens. You stop fearing challenge. You stop flinching at pressure. You start to realize that the discomfort you once avoided is the very thing that leads to transformation. You gain a quiet confidence that says, I've done this before, I can do it again. And that confidence isn't loud or boastful. It's steady. It's earned. But discomfort doesn't just come from doing more. Sometimes it comes from slowing down and doing less. It's uncomfortable to sit in silence when your instinct is to fill the space. It's uncomfortable to say no when you've built your identity around saying yes. It's uncomfortable to admit you don't know, to ask for help, or to change your mind. These are the subtle but powerful forms of discomfort that shape emotional strength. You also begin to discover that discomfort reveals what matters. When something scares you, it usually means it's tied to something meaningful. A speech that makes your stomach turn, probably because you care about your message. A decision that keeps you up at night, Probably because it affects people or values that are close to your heart. Discomfort, in this sense, is a compass. Follow it and you'll often find purpose on the other side. This isn't about being reckless or constantly pushing your limits to the extreme. It's about building the habit of choosing one uncomfortable action each day with intention. It could be as simple as giving honest feedback, trying something new, admitting a mistake, or standing up for a value. The action itself doesn't have to be big, but the impact on your mindset will be. The discomfort you embrace today becomes the strength you rely on tomorrow. And when you look back, it won't be the easy days that changed you. It will be the ones when you showed up, did the hard thing, and grew because of it. So don't avoid discomfort. Invite it in. Let it teach you. Let it stretch you. And let it remind you that growth is always one uncomfortable step away. In a world that moves fast and values efficiency, it's easy to forget that we are all human before we are anything else. We are not just titles, roles, or job descriptions. We are people with stories, emotions, fears, and hopes. Yet so often, whether at work, at home, or even with ourselves, we prioritize correction over connection. We focus on what needs to be fixed, improved, or criticized without first pausing to understand the person behind the behavior. But the truth is, no real change, no meaningful influence ever happens without connection first. To lead with connection means choosing empathy before evaluation. It means seeking to understand before being understood. Whether you're a manager giving feedback to a team member, a parent guiding a child, or simply trying to motivate yourself toward a better version of who you are, the principle is the same. People don't grow when they feel judged. They grow when they feel seen. Connection builds trust, and trust opens the door to change. When people feel connected to you, they are more likely to listen, to reflect, and to act. They don't feel attacked, they feel supported. That doesn't mean you avoid difficult conversations or sugarcoat the truth. It means you deliver those truths from a place of care, not criticism. You're not just pointing out what's wrong, you're showing that you're in it with them. But connection isn't just something we offer to others, it's something we owe to ourselves. We're often our own harshest critics. We push ourselves, demand results, and beat ourselves up for every misstep. But what if instead we led ourselves with connection? What if we checked in, not just on what we're doing, but on how we're doing? This isn't about being soft, it's about being wise. When you're connected to yourself, you make better decisions, set healthier boundaries, and sustain your motivation longer. Leading with connection also requires presence. You can't connect when you're distracted or multitasking. True connection means being there fully, looking someone in the eye, listening not just to respond, but to understand. Being willing to sit with discomfort without rushing to fix it. That kind of presence is rare and powerful. It creates space where people feel safe enough to be honest, brave enough to be vulnerable, and open enough to grow. There's a misconception that connection takes too much time, that it slows things down. But in reality, disconnection is far more costly. Miscommunication, disengagement, resentment, and turnover, all of these are symptoms of a culture or a relationship where connection has been lost. When people don't feel heard, they stop speaking. When they don't feel valued, they stop trying. And when they don't feel connected, they stop caring. On the other hand, when connection is strong, everything changes. Teams work better. Families feel closer. Individuals rise higher because connection is what reminds us we're not alone, and that's what gives us the courage to try, to change, and to lead ourselves and others with more heart. So the next time you feel the urge to correct, pause. Ask yourself, have I connected first? Have I seen the human in front of me, not just the behavior, the mistake, or the result? Have I extended the kind of understanding I'd want in return? Because when you lead with connection, you build something far more valuable than compliance. You build trust. And trust is the soil where all meaningful growth begins. The way we end our day is just as important as how we begin it. While mornings set the tone, evenings carry the final word. And too often that final word is one of exhaustion, frustration, or unfinished business. We fall into bed with our minds still racing, thinking about what we didn't get done, what went wrong, or what tomorrow might demand of us. It's no wonder we wake up tired, even after hours of sleep. Our bodies may rest, but our minds rarely do. But there is a simple, powerful shift that can transform not only how we sleep, but how well we've ended each day with gratitude. Not forced optimism. Not pretending everything went well, but genuine reflection on what mattered, what worked, and what we can still be thankful for despite the mess, the stress, or the things left undone. Gratitude is not about ignoring difficulty. It's about choosing to see clearly and still finding something worth honoring. It's about saying, yes, it was a hard day, but I'm still here. I still have something to learn, something to give, someone to love. This isn't naive, it's courageous. It takes strength to see the good when you're tired. It takes intention to pause when you'd rather scroll, vent, or numb out. But those small acts of thankfulness are where emotional resilience is built. When you end your day in gratitude, you reclaim the narrative. You're no longer letting the loudest or most negative part of the day define the whole experience. Instead, you're looking at the full picture. Maybe someone made you laugh. Maybe you stayed calm during a tough conversation. Maybe the coffee tasted good, the walk helped, the call went well, or the rain sounded peaceful. These aren't trivial things, they're anchors. In a world that constantly demands more, they remind us of what's already enough. There's also something deeply humanizing about acknowledging your effort. You may not have finished everything on your list. You may have fallen short in some way. But if you tried, if you showed up, kept going, did your best with what you had, that's worth gratitude too. Too often we only celebrate outcomes. But what if we learn to appreciate the effort itself, the courage to try, the decision to keep showing up, the honesty it takes to admit what's hard and do it anyway? Ending your day with gratitude is not a performance. It's a practice. It can be as simple as writing down 3 things you're grateful for, or quietly naming them in your mind before bed. You can share them with someone you love or simply let them settle in your heart. The method doesn't matter as much as the mindset, one of noticing, appreciating, and letting go. This practice also changes how you approach the next day. Gratitude doesn't just offer closure, it builds momentum. When you recognize what was good, you start to believe that more good is possible. You stop seeing life as a never-ending list of problems to solve and begin to see it as a story unfolding, sometimes messy, often challenging, but still beautiful in unexpected ways. So when the day is done, let it be done. Don't drag it into tomorrow. Don't carry the weight of every unmet goal or imperfect moment. Reflect on or release. And in that quiet moment, choose gratitude, not because everything is perfect, but because even in imperfection, there is still so much to be thankful for. Gratitude doesn't erase the hard parts, it reframes them. It gives meaning to the effort. And when you make that your final act of the day, you don't just go to sleep, you go to sleep full of perspective, full of grace, and full of the quiet power that says, I made it through this day and I'm ready for the next out. We often dream in grand moments. We think about big goals, major milestones, the breakthroughs we hope will one day define our story. We wait for the perfect opportunity, the turning point, the moment everything will finally change. But life doesn't happen in those cinematic flashes. Life happens in the ordinary, in the unnoticed hours, in the quiet decisions we make again and again. Your life isn't built in a day, but it is built by your days. Every one of them counts. And over time, they add up to everything. There's a powerful truth hiding in plain sight. The way you live your day is the way you live your life. We think we'll become who we want to be somewhere down the line when we get the job, hit the goal, find the right time. But character doesn't wait for permission. Discipline doesn't show up just for big moments. And purpose isn't something we stumble into one day, it's something we practice daily, quietly, consistently. We underestimate the value of a single day. We think that's just today, I'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow is built on the habits of today. The excuses you make today become the regrets of tomorrow. And the small wins you earn today become the foundation for your future strength. The day you decide to show up when it's hard, to speak kindly when it's easier to snap, to stay focused when distraction calls, that day matters. It may feel invisible, it may go uncelebrated, but it's doing the work of becoming. When you realize that days become your life, you start to treat them differently. You stop waiting for motivation and start showing up with intention. You stop living only for the highlight reel and begin to embrace the process. Not every day will be remarkable. Many will feel mundane, but they're all meaningful because they shape your mind, your habits, your relationships, and ultimately your identity. This doesn't mean living with pressure to make every day perfect. It means living with presence, showing up fully for what's in front of you. It's not about constant hustle or never resting. It's about asking yourself, am I living today in a way that honors who I want to be? And if the answer is no, it's not a reason to feel shame, it's a reason to pivot. A reason to choose differently, even in the smallest way. There's freedom in this truth, too. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to win today. You don't need to climb the whole mountain in one leap. You just need to take the next step with intention. Because when you focus on making this day count, the big picture takes care of itself. The beauty of this mindset is that it gives value to every part of life. Washing dishes, sending that email, checking in with someone you care about, taking 5 minutes to breathe, all of it matters. Not because it's exciting, but because it's real. The life you want isn't somewhere far off. It's hidden in the discipline, gratitude, and effort you bring to each passing day. So if you want to change your life, don't start with the distant future. Start with today. I mean, not the fantasy version of today, the real one. The messy one. The rushed one. The one you're actually living. That's the raw material of your life. Treat it with care. Lead it with purpose. Give it the best of you, even if the best today just means showing up. Because in the end, we don't remember life as one big moment. We remember it as a